We just got here to this residential call. No cooling. Opened up, this is what I got here. Just kind of glancing over the entire unit. Looks like someone's replaced the condenser fan motor. Not quite sure what that is. If that's one of the, I think that's just a wire holding or a strap holding a wire. Luckily the fan blade doesn't hit anything, so that's good. Looking over here, that signs that compressor's gotten overheated. So I bet this thing is in pretty good shape. Don't know how dirty it is. It's got a little bit of stuff in it, but it looks like it's struggled in the past. Ruds are good about getting dirty and no one knows it. Good strong units though, they're tanks, but this one's definitely gotten dirty and it's overworked. It's probably started to burn up that oil a little bit if I was to guess. But the issue today is I came out here, I pushed in this contactor, I got the power off, but it didn't do anything. I checked, I had 235 volts. I got this set to ohm. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go across there and I push in my contactor. And I don't really have a good close. That should be reading 0 with it shoved all the way in. It's not 36 mega ohm. So our contactor's dead. I'm gonna check that capacitor, but more than likely I'm just gonna replace both of them. Just because I'm pretty sure that's the original, and if I was to guess, it's just in rough shape. You got a lot of rust on it anyway, so well, a lot of times you just want to replace those anyway. That's going to save you a future service call. You're already out here. I mean, you might as well just do it. Try to clean this up a little bit too. This thing's been pretty nasty. It hadn't been looked at for a long time, so let's do it. Alright, something I just noticed looking at this. Check this out. It was just landed against the compressor. So like, that's not good. And I'm pretty sure that is what's running, so I don't know how long it's been like that. So, and then I don't ever like wires sitting on the hot gas line. That's never good. That's something else you can get in trouble with. Thermostat wire down here among all the vines and crap. Hey, what the heck? Okay, so some of it's thermostat wire. I don't even know that's part of it. No, I don't know what that is. That comes from somewhere else. Meat. So that's the actual thermostat wire. So I'll clean that up too. Just kind of strap it up at least so it's not among the vines. Alright, now I got the work area cleaned out. All those vines are out so I can see the thermostat wire. Have it strapped down, it won't get weed eated. Got this all cleaned out good. I went across that a little bit. I'll wash it too here in just a bit. Alright, got the new contactor mounted up. There's our old one. I'm going to go ahead and focus on these capacitors. And I'll probably get a new one on here too, of course, and I'm going to strap it down so it doesn't move a whole lot. Of course, this new capacitor won't fit in there. It's too small compared to the big one, so I'm just going to strap both of them down to the side of it. That'll make it easier. Alright, I went ahead and just mounted them separately. I got this one strapped here so it won't budge if the unit ever vibrates. And I got the 7.5 over here. That's the wires are down there out of the way. I like to just go ahead and leave it a separate capacitor on these aftermarket motors. They tend to like it better. We've had a couple like rescue motors. You can cut, I think it's just a straight brown wire that goes to the capacitor. Like you can cut this brown one here and just run the brown white to the capacitor like your dual cap, or vice versa. I can't remember which one it is, but a lot of times you see them burn up for some reason. They like to have their own designated capacitor where you have the brown white and the brown going to it. We just tend to usually do that anymore. We've talked about it at the shop before, so we just end up just going straight to a designated capacitor. So that's why I left it, and then just go get a new dual anyway. So got all that taken care of now. I'll make sure it will try to start up after I make some wiring repairs here. So like I said, that motor, that's the motor wire, not even a wire nut, but spice nothing. So I'm gonna fix that real quick. Like, and then once again, like I was talking about, you see where it's all this is peeling off here. This unit's kind of old. Let's see how old it is. It's not terrible. 1998 manufacture date, so about as old as my mom's Rudd was, because hers was a 2000, I think, 2001. But you can definitely tell this thing's been running hot. All of that, it's just peeling off there. I mean, this thing's probably got a limited lifetime, but I'll get it going for him like he was wanting, and I'll strap all his wires up. And I'm gonna try to clean up these wires in here a little bit. I gotta get all my crap off the top of here. So all the screws to the top of this thing were missing to begin with, so this fan basically was just sitting on there because that panel wasn't even all the way on tight, so that motor was just sitting there. The whole top was just sitting on top of it, not screwed down, which isn't typically a big deal in these Rudds because it's just so freaking heavy. But you can definitely tell someone worked on it and didn't really make sure to get everything back in place. So that's one of the reasons we're here today. Everything's just kind of been hodgepodge on this thing. So a couple things that I've done already. So they had the wires just looped up over this. They used to go through this hole in the factory, except there's a bracket that went across here. Obviously the bracket's gone, so I put it back through there, and I put a piece of Permaflex around it up here so it wouldn't rub a hole in the wire. And I'm just gonna zip tie it here. It's not the greatest, but it'll be better than what it was. And I'm gonna check, but I think our fan blade was almost too high, or down into it too low. I went ahead and snipped the 4 nubs off of that, so I'm gonna lower that blade a little bit more and see how we land with our shroud. And I'll amp it out and stuff, see how we read, and check our pressures later. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, just because I'm already suspecting it. I just got it reset. So you see where our old spot was on the fan, on the shaft there. So I went ahead and dropped it about an inch or so there. So I bet we were having issues. While I had it apart, just go ahead and do that. I'm gonna strap these guys here down better. And then I'm gonna also see, I think these wires will reach that contactor. I'm gonna try to anyway, because I hate having a bunch of joints on it, a bunch of different splices and connectors. So I'm gonna see if I can just run that straight to the contactor and get it good. All right, so I got the wires ran, strapped into the suction here, and what do you know? They had plenty of room to reach the contactor. So while I was down here, I went ahead and strapped the compressor's wires too, and this is actually okay. The terminals on the compressor are fine. I figured one of them might be burnt or getting there or show signs of it, but it looked okay. So we don't gotta worry about that, I don't think. I'll say this is the call it keeps on giving. This is how the wires were tied up with those, just electrical tape wire nut style. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this excess through, cut it, and just wire nut it to that, have it up in the air. Okay, I got our stout wire strapped to the suction line. I didn't have any Armaflex on my van, or else I probably would have thrown one on there. I'll recommend he to do it. I mean, he can probably get some. I ran it over there, and it's all nice and strapped up. I love the blue cover for the wire. I love the wire too. That's cute, but I'm not worried about that. If it works, it works. I got new screws on the corners here, and I got 2 for here. So I'm going to go ahead and go turn the thermostat on first. Looking at this, that fan blade is right now, it's just right on the line of that shroud. So being another inch and a half lower, it probably wasn't pulling air out of that condenser correctly. So I'm going to say that was a good call I went ahead and made earlier. So I think we're going to be good to go though. And the gifts just keep on giving though. You might not be able to tell, but that filter is completely clogged. So I'm going to throw a new one in there. Plus the batteries are almost dead in the thermostat, so I'm going to replace those too. So I found the indoor unit. First, there's the evaporator. There's side of the washer here. So guess what I'm not going to be looking at. And also no Armaflex in here either, so I'm just going to assume there's none anywhere on it. Awesome. So But I did turn the fan or the AC on, so I got the breaker off outside, the blower's on. So I guess I'll go check it out there and see how it's doing. All right, and we are running now. I went ahead and hit the disconnect. I did wash it out earlier, by the way. That's why everything's all wet. We are on here. So let it run for a little while, dry out the coil. I'll get my gauges on it and see how everything's looking after it gets dried out. All right, I just checked my subcool. Starches running a little bit lower than I'd like, about 33 degree saturation. But I would expect that with the dirty evaporator, because he's pretty sure when he's unblowing it, he didn't even hardly put a filter in it. So who knows what that evaporator actually looks like. I have a target superheat though of 12 degrees, and I got 14. So I'm okay with that, plus or minus 3. Head pressure looks okay. Got about a 22 degree subcooling. So I'm gonna say this bad boy is good to go. All right, if you can see real quick, these guys are both missing their O-ring, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw some new brass caps on it, and I'll go inside and check our Delta T, make sure it's good, and then we'll be wrapping up here. By the way, I did go ahead and amp out the compressor and the fan motor. Fan motor's rated for 2 amps, normal running. It's pulling about 1.4 right now, and then the compressor is rated at 16, and it's pulling about 12.8. So both are about what I would expect them to be right now. So that's good. All right, I just got back in the van now. I got finished up inside. My Delta T was running about 16 degrees, which is a little low typically, but we are in southeast Missouri. It's got about a 67% humidity inside right now, so that makes that 16 degrees just right, what I would expect for that high of humidity in there. So this guy's good to go. I've let it run for about a half an hour now. Everything's still running fine, so I'm gonna let it go. I don't know how long it's actually not been working, because like I said, that condenser fan motor wire didn't have a connector on it, and it was right up against the compressor. So I don't know how it never tripped, or maybe it did. He said it's been out for a day. His daughter said it's been a few days, so who kind of knows. But either way, it is back up and going, and everything looks good to go. So thank you guys for watching. If you don't mind, like and subscribe. I do all kinds of different videos. I go over different HVAC equipment. Sometimes I post racing videos, lawnmower racing, tractor pulling, lawn tractor pulling. You never know what I'm going to post, so it's always something different. It's sporadic usually. And thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.
Follow White Rabbit. I'm taking potions, call me Alice.